look right there. There it is. They didn't know where they were going. And you're talking.
He was a year older. That's why.
The Northern Michigan campus is not like Michigan State. It's not even a quarter of it. So, yeah, that's where we kind of first met.
And you met as teammates, so you guys had to be teammates from the get-go.
Oh yeah. And, I don't know if he's felt the same way about me, but it's always something.
While we're on this topic of your friendship, so you guys go back. What made you get that video?
Well, I got a call. I called the sheriff and everything just to find out who the guys were that saved them, because I wanted to talk to them. I was at my cottage when it happened. I just come off a recruiting trip, and I drove back past the speed limit and got there. Mike wouldn't remember much then because he was on a ventilator and he was going through all that. And then once we got him through that, and Cynthia and I met with the doctors, and then he did come over to my house. I tried to get a hold of somebody. They said, "We've got it," and I saw it, and then I took him out there and we watched it, and without Cynthia, right?
Without,
yeah,
yes.
It just was kind of, it was kind of wicked, and yet it was kind of inspiring. As he said, it was both. It was, you talk about two emotions, they're saying, "Oh my God," and then you're saying, "Oh my God," as a negative and as a positive. And I just think that what made me inspired is, and I told him, helping other people, you got to go through different things yourself. Some people go through cancer, some people go through other problems in their life, could be addictions. And I think the best way to help other people is to show them what you went through yourself. You become more real, you become more human when that happens. And I think it didn't take much to convince him, but I said, no, I didn't have anything to do with how far he took it. I just supported how far he took it. But the initial, I think that's how it happened.
Yeah.
Talk about where Champions of the Heart started and where it is now, and the organization. You've been a great supporter of it, and we appreciate that as a member of the board. Talk about how you feel about Mike taking this to the next level.
Well, I think that supersedes anything he did for the hundreds of players of mine that he helped coach and help their lives change and everything. This could be life-changing for millions of people. And and I want to thank you. The story you did was eye-opening, and it was so good. And that helps. Urban Johnson once said, "Great players play great, but elite players make everyone else great." Well, that could be the same for citizens. Great citizens are great people, they're good people, they help, but elite ones kind of make other people that wouldn't have done something better than they actually are. And so he became an elite person. You were part of the elite story, and that story touched, I'm sure, millions of people when you really look at what it's done. And then when he started this, I said, it just seemed like a long shot, like, is this really going to happen? And then the night we had all the mannequins and everything down in Breslin. You were there for that training, and I said, this thing's got some legs to it. It's got a chance, and now it's our job. I got to do more than I do, because you guys have done great, but could be my life you save, could be one of my family members, could be my grandchild. We're talking, you don't have to be old to have what happened to Mike. That is a different kind of a heart issue than maybe blockage and different things. So I think he's made people aware, and that is a gift, that somebody will put himself out there to help other people be aware.
And sharing that video was so brave. I remember when we had the conversation, at first you weren't sure about it, and then you changed your mind. What changed your mind?
Well, the fact that it was an opportunity for me, just as John just said, to be able to reach out and help other people, because I knew, because I had gone through it. Without those two guys, you don't make it. And you heard those statistics. For every minute that you go without someone getting a hand on your heart, your likelihood of survival goes down and decreases tremendously. And after that 4 minutes, you're gone. They're probably not going to get you back. And I was talking to a nurse yesterday about it, and she was saying, even from the standpoint when they get people into the hospital and they're still not quite gone, they know they're going to pass away, but they just said if someone would have just 2 minutes, that much, that little bit of time, just 2 minutes, would have, you know, gave them some compressions, would have probably saved their life.
Yeah, or even more so, you know, then you worry about brain damage. And
Yes.
different things. You
Yes.
know, each 30 seconds that it goes, something,
Critical.
you know, maybe you would be saved with your life, but maybe you wouldn't be living the same kind of life.
Exactly.
So, you know, as you watch it, you see the minutes go, and you did such a great job on your show and how you presented it. And then we went out to the sheriff's
Right.
department, and
Right.
you watch it there, and you listen to the guys talk, and we met the guys.
Yep.
It was so real.
Yeah.
And when it's so real, that's an easy story to tell because there's nothing made up.
No.
Right.
You know, there's nothing dramatized. It's not, nobody's doing anything this is the way it went. And by showing the film,
Right.
and I encouraged them to do it. I said,
Yes.
you know, maybe I wouldn't do it if it was me, but if I was you, I'd do it
Yeah.
because I think you're going to help other people and you're going to make them realize there was nothing staged here.
No.
You know, sometimes when you're in high school and there's staged events.
Right.
And they show you what's going to, no, this was in living color. And I think the impact of that quadrupled everything, to be honest with you.
You know, Chief, and I want to piggyback on what you just said. And it's like when we put together some game plans, championship game against Purdue, and the margin of error is so thin that if we make maybe one more mistake, we lose instead of winning. Like when Miles hit the jump, I'm telling you, similar, all 15 people. If someone would have missed the boat and not did their job, Mike Garland's dead.
Yeah, and you know what you did? You made it live TV. I mean, it wasn't totally live, but you made it live TV, and we all know that's what everybody wants to view now is live TV, and I think the way it was done, it was live TV. They could see everything. You see the passover from the paramedics
Yep.
to the civilians that were doing it.
Right.
God, you know, it used to be tear-jerking, and now when I talk about it, the hair on my arm raises, and it's
Yeah.
exciting.
I'm the same
It's
way.
exciting. It's God, thank God that you helped many people, and we don't even know how many will be helped. And, you know, that's pretty cool, man. That's why I love them.
Thanks, guys. It's pretty good.
If I could cut
Great,
in.
I'm going to let these guys
Yeah.
have you now. Thank you very much.
That was great.
I'm curious, as coaches who have coached 20-year-olds, peak health, high-performing athletes, it feels like this sort of medical side of things doesn't really get talked about, and it can happen, like you mentioned, to a 20-year-old or anyone. And I'm curious, how do you combat that sort of awareness gap between someone who in their youth maybe doesn't realize that, like me?
That's why he's made this a mission.
Yeah.
You know, he goes on and speaks about it. We get people in. We have, you know, like banquets or celebrations I mean, spreading the word is sometimes more important than the money. You know, you have events to try to raise money for this, but spreading the word is really good because some people can't afford the money. But when they come to his clinic and they're showing you how to do things in that, he's also talking about this isn't 80-year-olds. This isn't out-of-shape people. This isn't. His situation was different. That could happen to unfortunately, my 2-year-old granddaughter, my 30-year-old daughter, or me. And that's the beauty of what he's doing, I think.
I mean, if you look at DeMar Hamlin and Bronny James,
Yeah, there you go.
you know, well-conditioned athletes, the exact same thing that happened to me happened to them. And people don't understand. There is a big difference, young man, between heart attack and cardiac arrest. Cardiac arrest, you can be standing here, you can be 10 years old, and it happens where a 10-year-old go into cardiac arrest. You don't have to be running, it's just the electrical system in your heart for several reasons goes haywires. and boom, you're down. The good news is that if someone helps you and they get you to the hospital, they can get you through. That's the part I don't think as a nation we truly appreciate or understand.
You guys won't believe it. He looks a lot better now than he used to look. He wasn't as good looking before. So he's done good with it.
Mike, what did it mean to you for Tom to make you stay at his house and make sure that you're okay to take that sort of level of care for you as someone who's known him for forever? But
Yeah, but that's who he is. That's why I loved him from day one. I mean, that's who he is. That's what he does. He's made a career, a Hall of Fame career, out of showing other people how to live their dreams like he lived his. It's more important for him that his players succeed more than his own success. And when you pour into people like that, you're going to have success. It's going to come back to you in some kind of way.
Some way, yeah.
And he wasn't looking like, he never dreamed that our program would be like it is. We were trying to do the best we could do.
Stay from getting fired.
Right. Just keep from getting fired. That was our whole thing.
You know, when I asked him and Cynthia to stay at the house, because I knew Cynthia from college too, and I knew that it was going to be a lot on her. And, you know, he had family, but all of his family was down in the Ypsilanti area, and kids were kind of spread out, Atlanta, Cleveland. And so at least I knew every day that my wife was there, Cynthia was there. When she could get away a little bit, somebody was there. And but he actually recovered unbelievably quick, I think, for the situation where he was. I mean, a lot of it was precaution at the end, and you know, just hey, hang tight here. I got a nice room up here. It was gave me somebody to talk to. It was good. It was a good deal for both of us. It wasn't just a good deal for him. And at the same time, I'm realizing how close. When I drove back, 90 miles from there to the hospital, and I was cooking, and I called my administrative assistant, Garrett, to make sure we got the president of the hospital helped, and just let's all work together here. And they called me 20 minutes out and said, don't be expecting the world here. This could end in a very bad way. That was 20 minutes out. And I got up there, and of course he was on a ventilator, and it was tear-jerking. He had some family there. And we sat there for a while and talked to him, but he didn't answer. But he did that when he worked for me some, so it was different. But, and then Cynthia and I met with the doctors, and the next day he started to really come around, but he was still on the ventilator for, I don't know, 2-3 days?
3 days.
3 days.
I think, Tom.
But it was, and then once he came off that,
Yeah.
man, it was like, that's why he said, somebody saved his life, and it wasn't like it took a month and a half, 2 months to get back to
Right.
semi-normal.
Yeah, semi-normal.
It's just weakness and stuff.
Right.
But he was raring to go, so pretty cool.
So you're speaking with a good-sized business audience today, and with the Econ Club here in East Lansing. How can the rest of the state of Michigan's business community find out more about this great project?
Well, our website, of course, is thechampionsoftheheart.net. You can go in there and you can see all of the things that we've done, our past galas. You can also see our training events, and you know, you can also get a hold of me at Garland at ath.msu.edu, and I'll be more than happy to respond to your emails as well. But
I think when you see it and see what happened, and that was the beauty, if I used the wrong word, but the beauty of the video, you can also ask your doctors. You can,
Yes.
You just got to be
That's a great
proactive,
point.
because this thing,
That's
it
great.
doesn't have to be a rhyme and a reason. He just talked about two of the probably best athletes, Hamlin and Bronny. best condition, best.
They're world-class
best.
athletes.
And guess what? They're both back playing
Both back playing.
at a high level.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
you know,
recover.
Spreading the word and getting it out there. You asked a good question. How do you do it? And there's a lot of ways, but one of the ways is get CPR, because that, once you're trained in CPR, that's when you can start helping
Absolutely.
other people, if you ask me.
Absolutely.
All right?
All right.
Good? All right, guys, thanks, man.
That's what-